What happened is the third day we went to this little village, there was this man, he was very old, the people were very friendly. And the man said, you came on that road? The road we came on had all these rocks put into the mud. And so you drove, you were on these rocks. Bounce, 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 bounce. Well, this was the longest trip away from Kiev for the 3 days. We bounced all the way to this village. None of us wanted to bounce the same way back. And so this man who had these chickens running in and out of his house, he said, I know a shortcut. And our bus driver shook his head no. But Anatoly was so nice, he said, well, he offered this advice. We really can't say no. So we got on the bus, we started going. It didn't take long, we knew that we were doomed because it was a bus with 39 people, a heavy bus. You can't get slogged that way. Finally, we're stopped. We can't go another. You're waiting for the Mongol hordes to come and overtake the bus or something. And our bus driver is so mad. There's really smoke coming out of his ears. He kind of looks like a short refrigerator. He's very strong. He jumps out of the bus. There are some small trees on the side, and I suppose because the soil is sandy, he rips those trees right out of the ditches. He puts them in front of the tires. Somehow he turns around, and we head back just a little ways. Remember, we're seeing no traffic. Here comes the biggest yellow truck ever at us. And so we didn't know what would happen, but that yellow truck finally stopped. He realized we were in front of that. So he backed up. So finally we got out of there. But this was always a joke, the famous shortcut. So, okay. All right, look at that wagon. How old, would that be World War II? Does anybody have an idea? It just looks so old, like it would have to be from World War II. And this is the only style wagon we saw. Always pulled with one horse or two horses, but just looks really old. Okay, we're in one of those little the Ukrainian villages now. You fellas. And there they are. Everything's so apathetic. They're just kind of like, there's no energy with these people. They just stand. Some of the houses we walked by had nice vegetable gardens, but they didn't have any supermarkets. Where did they get their food? I think they pretty much had to raise their own food. Okay, next. And this is a collective farm. We saw a few of these. Stalin set these up. And whoever was the Pope at that time Stalin was doing this, the Pope said, in Poland, you will not do these collective farms. These people have had their land forever, and the families, leave them alone. But Stalin did what he wanted to in Ukraine. So he set up these collective farms, and they're all vacant, and all these big buildings just sitting empty. It's just really kind of sad. Okay, even that is part of a collective farm. Wait a minute here, Phyllis. The guy behind the horse there, he's in charge of the horse. He really liked this woman with the purple top. She was very nice. If you were smart, you took gifts along for these people. She had a t-shirt with an American flag and gave it to him, and he was so happy. Oh, he was just thrilled. And so he quick gave her a ride out behind the horse and gave her a big bouquet of flowers. So he really liked her. There she is. See how happy he is? But everywhere, at least in Ukraine, they like Americans. They really do. Okay, we were walking across here because we're trying to find another graveyard. We've got to find our names, our family names, which we never did. Okay, next. Okay, they must really like blue. It seemed like the churches had a lot of blue, and the houses were painted with a lot of blue too. And blue is just their favorite color. Okay, next. And these villages, I'll tell you a little bit about this guy. You see the name Kutsuzoka village or whatever. He was a general who saved this part of the world from Napoleon, I think it was from Napoleon's forces. And he did such a good job. So whoever was in charge gave him a lot of land, and he was a generous guy. So when the Mennonites were looking for land, he let them, a lot of them, start farming his land, so that they were very grateful for that. Okay, now this woman is so thin. You know, most of the women we saw there were quite hefty, but this one is thin. Okay, next. Oh, okay. Phyllis helped me today for 2 hours. We're trying to find this. Okay. This is one cute little store in one of these little tiny, tiny villages. Much smaller than Pringle. Very small. And look, there's not a healthy thing to eat in that whole store. Well, maybe the watermelon. Okay. Now, so I don't know, I think they just made all their food, you know. We saw gardens everywhere. Now, are you ready? Okay, this is what we looked for 2 hours. Next picture. When I asked the lady in the store, I said, they know the word toilet. I said, where's your toilet? Oh, she says in the back, just open the door. So I went behind the little store. And look at that. This is a facility in the Ukraine, and it's just, isn't that something? And my legs weren't working too well, and I just knew I'd fall right on top of that. It's a ragged hole, and it was full. So there you go. How about that? Aren't you glad Phyllis helped me find that? Okay, keep going on. Oh, and hold on. This Russian, the Ukrainian wheat, you know, that's what the Mennonites brought over, and a lot of other German colonists brought over to South Dakota, North Dakota, Nebraska, whatever. And so that's like that. Okay. Oh, and this has a story too. I won't get into all the details. But when you're going along this bus all day long and there are no facilities, what do? You gotta go, right? So you stop the bus, and the men go on the left, the women go on the right. You kind of find a couple weeds to hide behind, and you do your thing. And you people are brave, but I'll just tell you, my legs weren't working too well, and I did my thing and I fell. And I had to crawl, and everybody else was on the bus. I could have been left on the Ukraine. You're so lucky that I'm back to give you this program. Okay, going on. And here's a woman. All she does is take care of the cows, make sure they don't get lost. Don't they look sad? I'm just be so glad you live in America. Here's another sad-looking gal. Oh, this is when the cameras really went wild. Isn't that just something? These storks. This was one whole long stretch, all these storks. And we heard that the storks are there in the summer, but in the winter, where do they go? They fly off somewhere to India, or they like to fly to Egypt. Egypt goes down south forever, and they fly to Egypt. There are only 2 classes of wealthy people in the Ukraine. You probably know it already. Politicians and lawyers. So in the winter, where do they go for vacations? They go to Egypt or to India. Okay, but those storks were fun to watch. There were a lot of farmers from South Dakota and Kansas, and they were just in awe of any kind of machine, because we didn't see them too often. But they always had to check to see what kind they were. Okay. And all the fields were just messy. There were weeds everywhere. You know, you've got the crop, but you've got all these weeds also. Just messy, messy. What's a Volvo? From what country? Sweden? Sweden? So we were just surprised to see any modern. Oh yeah, this is something. So they just dump the weight on the ground, and the poor women had to put it in sacks. And I suppose one of those overworked horses comes along and, okay.
It's race.
Yeah, and everybody's moving so slowly. It just kind of bugs me. I like to go fast, but everybody goes slowly. Next, this is part of the group, but you can see why the Mennonite farmers, they in 1872, they sent a delegation over to America and checked out places in South Dakota, North Dakota, Kansas, Nebraska, and they decided this place would be good.
Did people speak English over there? Lois?
Yeah.
I said, did anybody speak English when you went into these towns and stuff?
Oh, no. That's why we took, that gal with red hair, who was that child, we took either her along or her father, because they could take care of the language problem. They were really good. And one time, the red-headed gal, the daughter of Anatoly, she was proud because in this one village, she found a woman who was 90 years old and was sharp. And we deliberately stopped there and visited with her. She was so friendly. And about all that woman wanted to talk about, there was a picture of her on the wall. And she said, that was me when I was young. She wanted to talk about her family, but she really didn't remember when any of the Mennonites had actually lived there. Okay.
Like a well.
Yeah, it must be a well. I don't know. Oh, there's the old gal that doesn't really know anything to help us, but she was so happy we were there too. Again, all these Ukrainians loved us.
She's smiling.
And dill pickles.